It's Kringle Time. Sit back and relax as we dive into a world of laughter and learning with the Kringle brothers, reminding us that we are better together.
Well, that was
Hey,
not good.
what? What happened?
I almost fell backwards in the chair. It's like, whoa!
You got too excited.
I did what? It's Wednesday and it's Kringle time.
Hey, welcome to Kringle Time, everybody. I'm one of your hosts, Michael Howe,
And I'm Herbie.
aka I want to say how you're Santa Herbie. I just don't like that story because I've had so many people going, "Is Herbie working for Mitch now at Hire Santa?" No, he's got a different Herbie. No, that's
Just,
not the Herbie I know.
again, just to let everybody know, there was a post on Facebook from Hire Santa welcoming a new employee by the name of Herbie. I called Mitch and asked him, was I hired? And I didn't know. And he goes, no, Herbie, we hired somebody else by the name of Herbie. And I'm like, just checking. But if you do need somebody to wear the mascot, I'll be more than honored to do so.
Yeah, I got a friend request from him. I go, oh, that was so much fun. Yeah. So welcome to the show, everybody, with
Hello.
the real Herbie. Oh, so Paul's on and Sue's on.
Oh, we have
Oh,
so
look
many
at that. And
wonderful
Gary.
people on.
Oh, and Bob. Oh, yeah. Mr. Puppet's on. I love him.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes. And we
very
have
good.
Pat's on and Santa Doug and, of course, Bill Stockwell as well.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks for
We,
tuning in, everybody.
we have
So,
so many great fans. I really do enjoy all the people that we get to talk to. Oh, we even got somebody from New Zealand with us.
ooh,
So we're
cool.
really getting out there because it's like the middle of the day for them now.
Oh yeah, that's major commitment.
It is. Well, thank you, Santa Dwayne from New Zealand.
Yeah. So what have you been? So what's happened this week? I mean,
You
I
know
know
what?
that you've had a root canal.
I've had so many tests going on lately. I don't know if I'm a science project living in a petri dish or what's going on. But you know what? I figured this way. The season ended. It's now March. It's now time to get my physical, make sure everything is going good because before you know it,
I want to go.
October is
Let's
going to be
get
here.
physical. I want to just
Physical.
do the song. All right, all right, all right. Sorry.
Yes, but let me tell you, you do not look good in a leotard,
Oh,
but that's okay. I love you.
thank you.
Oh, right.
You
I
know,
don't
and
want to even see me in a
I know
leotard.
you're feeling better from the root canal because your eyes are twinkling a little bit and you're talking. The other night it was like, oh, how are you doing? You know, yeah.
Yeah, I was having an Eeyore moment there, but it's all okay.
Oh, that's awesome. So, yeah. So, anything else happening this week from you?
No, you know what? Not really. It's just a point of just getting all the things in order. We have up here in Michigan for Michigan Associated Professional Santas, we have our Jingle Joy coming up. Let's run that banner.
Oh, yeah. All right. You go ahead and talk, and I'll put the banner up.
And we're having the great Bob McMasters coming up to Michigan to teach, and it's going to be a wonderful time. And in fact, I'm so excited that I just made the phone call prior to coming down to the show to this year's scholarship recipient.
Oh, we
And
were able to. We've got somebody now.
yes, it's Richard and Cheryl Smith from Akron, Ohio.
Oh,
So they're really
congratulations!
excited. But we
Yay!
had 12 entries to go ahead and submit. And it's just amazing to see the commitment and what everybody wants to do.
That's
But
cool.
I will tell you one thing, Michael.
What?
The biggest thing that I saw in some of the submissions was character development.
Oh, which is tonight's topic.
Exactly.
Look at the segue that you did. You're too
I am getting good at this now.
and congratulations. Now, and there's still just a few spots left for the Jingle Joy retreat. A couple of the things that I love since we were there, I don't want to miss that opportunity. Is having the Jingle Joy retreat at Rooftop Landing Reindeer Farm in Clare, Michigan is really magical. There's
Oh, yes, it is.
something about being with a reindeer, all of the things that the guys have there, and the environment of it, and they take such good care of us. you know. And Dave always tells me we love Santas, you know. And
Well, I
so
hope so. You have his
we love
reindeer there.
you, you know. So I've got a picture of Dave sitting on my lap and then pulling my beard. It was like, oh, it was
But
it's a fun.
but you know what makes the reindeer farm so much fun for this event is not just the reindeer being there, even though that's one of the most magical aspects there, but it's the other animals that they have, like
Yeah.
the Highland cows
Oh, and the sloth.
and the sloth. I think they have two sloths now.
Oh, they got two. Oh, it's
I
awesome.
think so. So even if you cannot make it to Jingle Joy that Thursday and Friday, I believe it's the 28th and 29th of May. Um, Come on up to Clare, Michigan to Red Rooftop Landing on that Saturday
Yep, it's
because it's Claus Day, and you can bring your suits, get wonderful pictures with the
Sydney's
reindeer.
there. You can get with pictures with the reindeer. Joe Grodner's got a wooden puzzle to give you some hands-on experience, like in woodworking and something fun to make and take. You know, so yeah.
So it's amazing, and oh yeah, we have our good friends, our new friends that we just met down in Virginia Beach, which we were at about 2 weeks ago. Tidewater Santa Ron is joining us. Oh, we have so many great people
Oh, and
here.
Doug and Dave's on. And Bill's on. Oh, there, Captain, my Captain, Ted's on.
Oh, Ted's with us too. So,
All
but
right,
yeah, Mike, let's
let's
get into what the heart of today's conversation is.
Well, like you made the segue before, and then I kind of crushed it a little bit. Sorry, you know, we're talking about character development. In other words, what's a healthy performer? Heartlet. Let me read to you, Herbie, what I wrote on character development. In other words, I look at character development on all of the work that takes place inside of us,
Mm-hmm.
inside our hearts, right? So developing and embodying and compelling character is essential for a Christmas performer. Whether you're portraying Santa Claus, Mrs. Claus, or an elf, or any other festive character, all right, we need to bring authenticity, warmth, charm to that role. This involves understanding the character's background, personality traits, mannerism, speech patterns to deliver an engaging performances that encourage the audience and makes them believe that you're them.
See, that's amazing.
So yeah, so that I love character development. I love what we're doing, and I love always going. What does it look like, and what does it sound like? Which
Mm-hmm.
I'll say that today this morning I got a chance to go to a school and do reading with Santa. I got to read to them. I love coming in Michigan. It's reading month, right? So first of all, Santa Jerry, thank you for making that possible for me. He's the Jerry Keel got the connection for me to come to the school that I was there, and I just had such a magical time. And it was good to see him and Nancy and talk a little bit, talking with them too. And in fact, he knows Bob. He's been to some of Bob's training, who's on here, which was awesome. I got to see Bob the puppet suitcase that you gave to him. The vintage suit is absolutely wonderful. So yeah, it was just fun to find that connection. How, what do they say? You're only four people away from everybody knowing everybody in the world, kind of thing, or
Yeah,
what? Seven
four
people.
to well, it's seven. It's seven layers to Kevin Bacon, but we're usually anywhere between 5 to 7 people from knowing anybody and everybody. So,
So yeah, that was really fun. So all right, back to character development. I'm shotgunning it. So when I ask the question to you, so if we're taking a look at finding those mannerisms and personality traits, there's a start to being Santa for all of us. So and I know the story, but I'd like other people to hear it. So how did you start to be Santa?
well, I think before I go into the story, we have to also look at this way as when any one of us got started, whether it's Santa, Mrs. Claus, or an elf, we did it usually because somebody asked us to do it and not having any idea what we're doing.
None, zip, nada.
None. Nothing. Well, my wife is a professional photographer, and one year she decided to want to do some Santa pictures. So she looked at me and goes, "Hey, you know what? You kind of fit the physique of Santa." Basically, I'm chubby. So We
Girth. I
went
like to say girth.
girth. Girth is a
Got
good
some
one.
girth on you.
Well, we ended up renting a suit and we got what she thought was this magical beard, like she remembered. In all honesty, it looked like a walrus. And I sat there for these pictures with her clients that came in. And I'll tell you what, Michael, it was amazing. The magic that you saw in the child's eyes, and even looking at the parents, that they can they I don't want to say get weepy eyed, but they got nostalgic as they're imagining their pictures with Santa, with their children.
Yeah.
And once we got bitten by that bug, you want to constantly improve.
Well, that's right. In other words, the why I think always changes. I think it's a lifelong learning situation. I think that one way it's like what makes you weep or pound the table, and what I mean by that, going, no, 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 I've got to be this. We've got to have this, and no, and then the other side of that emotion is pounding that table. No, we're going to do this, and that's just the way it is, tradition. And so
Well,
I
now it sounds like Fiddler on the Roof.
uh,
Tradition.
I love here's a squirrel. I love the line, right? If being rich is a curse, may I be smitten and may I never recover. All right, I love that line. All right, the squirrel. Thank you, Jerry. No, and then it constantly it morphs, it changes because I think you get a deeper understanding. At the first is like, well, I'm chubby and someone asked me, and I mean I'm the same way. Daycare down the street. Hey, you're kind of chubby. We think you're kind of fun. I'll give you a suit and you be with the kids. And then all of a sudden you do it, and all of those whys start to change.
Well, I also think too, though, is you get to a point where it no longer portraying Santa being a Claus ambassador changes from a hobby into more of a vocation.
Or
And when
even
you get
passion. You could put it as I
our passion,
use the word passion too.
and when you cross over that threshold to passion vocation, you just strive for a deeper meaning. And
Mhm.
I would just like to actually reference this point here is, and the reason why I think Michael and I spend so much time on character development is simply put, we are often asked, how do we answer difficult questions? But by understanding a character and its development, there's really truthfully not a question that you can't answer. And this is why we want to spend a lot of time talking about this.
Yeah. Hey, let me do this. I love the why. You know what I mean? I
Right.
love the
No,
why. What does it look like and what does it sound like? We'll come back to that. But
no.
I asked a few brothers in the community if they would send me, just a short little video clip of why they portray Santa.
Show and tell.
Well, I give credit to my being Santa to a little boy named Michael who came up to me the night after Christmas Day many years ago. I looked like this, but I was Ebenezer Scrooge at the time and had been for many years. He approached me shyly and said, "Thank you for my dinosaur Twain." Ho, ho, ho. Well, like the Grinch, in the X-ray, my heart grew like this, and Michael's the reason. Ho, ho, ho.
Santa Stephen Price here. One of my friends asked me, why do you portray Santa? It's a good question. It's certainly not for the money, as a lot of people may think. The money's good, I'll admit that. And it helps me to be able to buy new props, to go attend Santa schools, to go different places as Santa, to buy clothing and things of that nature to help me portray Santa the way I feel it should be portrayed, which I don't necessarily have to have, but I want or feel like I need. I portray Santa because of how it makes me feel. The first time that I saw a kid smile when they saw me, that feeling you get when you walk in a restaurant and mom and dad or boy and girl, whatever, are sitting there and you can see they're arguing or whatever, but they look up and they see you and one of them spots you and you see their eyes and the smile come to their face and They point with the other one. You see them motion for the other one to look at you, and they both smile. And for a little bit, they're happy. That happiness that you can bring to other people is why I do this. I mean, I had little old ladies at the hospitals, 80, 90 years old, and the first time they see me, oh, you are real. You are real. I know I'm a real person, but I'm not really Santa. I know that, but the thought that I can take them back to that moment of their childhood when everything was magical and special, that's why I do Santa.
Santa is making memories for everyone, not just the children, but for the adults too. We spread happiness throughout the world. Anybody can put on that red suit, but you have to have the heart to be the real Santa. So I encourage you to work on that. Always be Santa 365. Just smile, because you're making memories for these people. When these children grow up and they see that photo that you made with them when they were much, much, much younger, they're always going to smile. So you're making smiles from now on.
It keeps me thinking like a child, and I enjoy it, and I'll never grow up. Thank you.
See, that was amazing, but that question, I think, is the core of what everybody who will be watching this or is watching this with us is: why do you portray your Christmas character?
Yeah, it's something that you got to work on, and I think it's one of those, when you peel the layers of the onion, it morphs and it changes. It's not a black and white response. But I also think that the magic of Santa happens in the process of it, not the end result of it, because then you get new experiences and that definition changes. I kind of like white socks, definition to me. Linda buys me white socks and I wear those socks. And then you ask me, what color are those socks? And I'll say they're white. And then you get new socks, and you put the new socks next to the other socks you've been wearing and they've been washed a few times, and all of a sudden what you've been calling white, that definition changes, because this is whiter, this is white now, and so this is off white. And so I think that definition constantly changes as we grow in more experiences and we have more understanding of that character and mannerism and those types of things. I don't know. I mean, that's just how I perceive it.
Well, I know. I mean, I think you make a very good point where I think everybody, when they first start, bases their portrayal on something or someone that they're very familiar with. I mean, it could be Edmund Gwynn, Attenborough, Tim Allen, the Rankin Bass Santa, Father Christmas from the Christmas Carol.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is, and you say that, the roles that we portray, the reasons as to why, constantly evolve and constantly change. For me, I think one of the things I think that touched me the most was reading The Life and Adventures of Santa Claus by L. Frank Baum, where when Auk the Woodsman takes Nicholas through time to see children in various civilizations being treated like farmhands and not being able to have fun, basically not being a child, and making that decision as to, I want to bring joy and happiness and peace and calm.
Mm-hmm.
And I think knowing the values, or knowing or understanding the why again, helps bring or steadies your character or your role. Now you can vouch for this one, Michael, where pretty much as Santa, it's very stereotypical. You're warm, you're jolly, you're knowledgeable, and you're friendly. But when it comes to like elves or Mrs. Claus or even the Grinch, there's so many different variations out there that if your portrayal of those characters,
Mm-hmm.
have fun. And I think that's the most important part. I mean, we say this all the time in our training sessions. As adults, we forget how to have fun. We forget how to play.
That's why I love Jerry's comment. And
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like I refuse to grow up. I want
Yeah.
to be a child. And did you ever see the Twilight Zone one with the old people?
Yes. So when
And
they're playing kick the can.
and then they
Yep.
turned into those. And I think you know what? There's a lot of truth in that. You know, keeping those child things and those memories. And yeah, I love the kick a can thing. Yeah.
But at the same time, though, too, is I also think too we have to also look at this that, and you said it so eloquently in previous episodes where we have to be childlike, but not like a child.
Yeah, not childish, but
Childish,
like,
thank you.
yeah.
Maybe because we have to look at different things in the eyes of a child as if they're seeing it for the very first time. And it's your, I don't want to say job, but it's your responsibility in maintaining that stewardship into keeping the innocence, to keeping the wonder, by
Mhm.
keeping the magic. And I think that's the reason why, again, we want to talk a lot about character development with the time that you have with us, because, again, we're ambassadors of the Christmas spirit.
Yeah.
We are stewards of the magic. So, but,
Yeah. I've got what go ahead. What were you
well, no. I was just going to say it's 20 after. I don't know if you, before
Oh,
we go into the next segment here, we
oh,
should
okay.
probably go into basically
We could do our
showing
thanks.
some trying some tribute to contributors.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you
Let's
do a
let's
lot of
throw the
burrs?
thank you kind of thing. I like that idea too. Oh, what a hoot.
Are you going crazy managing clients, contracts, and invoices? Kringle Tracker is here to help you. Stay organized with ease. Keep your sanity in check with Kringle Tracker's intuitive tools to effectively manage your schedule and clients. Our seamless, customizable contract system allows you to tailor your contracts to you and your clients' needs. Prepare for tax time like a pro by tracking your income and expenses and generate reports to make it a breeze. Transform your Claus business by signing up for a free 20-day trial. Kringle Tracker was created by a Claus for the Claus community so you can focus on making magical memories for your clients. Head over to kringletracker.com and sign up for your free trial today.
Hey, thank you, everybody.
And
Yeah.
thank you to our contributors. And just a quick note, happy birthday, Kelly Mitchell. I'm reading the chat, and it's your birthday. I'm
Oh,
not
let's
going
do it
to
like the North Pole. We wish you
wish
a happy
you a happy
birthday.
birthday.
We wish you
Wish
a happy
happy
birthday.
birthday.
We
We
wish
wish
you a
you a
happy
happy
birthday. I don't
birthday.
think we're synced on the same, but happy birthday, Kathy.
He sings much better.
Oh,
but
that's a
but
hoot.
yeah, but again, okay, Michael. So with your character development, um,
Well, some examples of things that when you're looking at those whys, in other words, Santa, portraying Santa, it's encouraging kindness and imagination. In other words,
mhm.
Santa embodies the spirit of giving, love, and helping children learn to care for others. I mean, that's one of those things that we can do. We can model it. It fosters creativity and imagination in the child. How many times so much. The child brings something that they've made, a bead, and it's not just a little plastic bead, but it is, the jewel of the Nile kind of thing that they're giving to you. And in our culture, those normal, it helps in that child development, that creativity and imagination is so important. So that's one area. Um, Sometimes I struggle with it, but there's definitely a behavioral incentive, not necessarily for me. I always get frustrated when you get a parent going, you better be good, and some of that's populated. I get it, but there's a natural Santa, be on your best behavior. Don't forget please and thank you, and it gives me a chance. I always like to tell the child doing a mistake or something doesn't put you on my naughty list. It's what you do with that mistake. I tell the child, for me, this is just the way I love articulating it. It's what you do with it. Like, if you make a mistake and they ask you, don't make two mistakes by saying you didn't do it. Tell the truth. Tell them you're sorry. And how can I make it better? And said, that's a good thing. And they'll go, yeah. And I said, see, putting it on the naughty list isn't a mistake. It's what you do with the mistake that's important. So back to the teacher, it gives me a chance to try to redefine that definition or that behavior. And it fosters generosity. We've got to be taught to give. We got to be taught to care. We got to be taught to do those things. My mom never said, Michael, I'm going to teach you how to steal a cookie from the cookie jar today and lie to me. That just happened natural, but to give and to share and to give those things. So Santa has that capability of fostering that generosity. And of course, Santa's a symbol of joy and hope and generous belief and love, which I love working on defining those words. What does love look like? What does sound like? What does belief look like? In other words, those are abstract thoughts, but once we start pondering those and we get an idea in our head, if I can define it better in my head, then it gives me the capability of defining it for the child. So like today in my reading to the kids, I pulled Jinx, my elf, out, put him right next to me, in his chair. And then so I start having the conversation with Jinx. Now, Jinx, I expect you to be a good listener today when I'm reading. And then I define what that looks like to the kids. And it's so much fun to see. I'm talking to my elf and the kids are starting to do exactly what I'm telling them to look like. But I've never told them to that. Jinx, this is what it sounds like. And you literally, and I say, it's not talking, keeping your eyes on the person who's, speaking. And you can watch the children behave because I've defined that for them and they understand the definition more than they understand the word. So that's just a thought. So which then, let me pull up my one sheet. Let me ask you this a little bit. We'll see what we got. And if you'd like to respond in the chat room, it'd be fun to get some of your responses with it too. So let's take the word belief.
Okay.
Well, Michael, what does belief look like to you?
That's a hard question to answer.
Yeah, I'm making you think a little bit, but
I know, and it's not cool because you'll be seeing the smoke coming out of my ears here soon.
And then realize there's not, when we're talking abstract thought, there's not a right or wrong answer. I think at first when we get asked something, we want the right answer. Now remember, the magic happens in the process, not the end result.
Well, I guess for me is if you ask me what does belief look like, it's sitting in a chair or in an interaction with a child and you just look in their eyes and no matter what, you are Santa to them.
Yeah.
And you get that warm feeling. You can already tell that it doesn't matter what you do or what you look like. You are Santa to them. And that's the most important thing about it. How about you? What does belief look like to you?
Well, a good definition is you're sitting in a restaurant and all of a sudden you notice two little eyes peeking over the booth. And that's belief, and then the sound like along with that, is going, are you Santa? Or you do something and they go, like today at the show, I absolutely loved it. The principal, when I saw her and talked to her before, she got me down to the room, she said, now all the teachers have told the students that you're Santa's helper. And I said, that's not a problem. I said, if it comes up, I'll deal with it. So what happens in my first show, I do my magic coloring book, a little bit of magic, kind of fun. And one little girl yells out, you're the real Santa. That's belief. In other words, somehow in the mix of them meeting me and then me doing the things and sharing with them, I went from a helper to be the real thing. And so that's a little bit of what belief looks like to me and what it sounds like to me. So now, as for the Santa side of it, when you start to see those things, now you understanding that the magical belief system is happening. And that'll help you articulate, as I love learning from, Ted, situational awareness, which is another great topic. We should have Ted on and talk about that. That would be really good.
Okay.
So, but all right, Ted, you heard me. Mark your calendar. Give me a date. He's leaving the state for a while, so it'll be a little bit before we can get him. But yeah.
So, but here's some of the responses that came in from the people watching. Charlie Johnson: belief, to accept something as true or fact.
Yeah.
Santa Kevin: seeing isn't believing. Believing is seeing.
I like that.
And from Bob: belief to me is believability.
Oh, yeah. I like that, Bob.
And I'll just do a couple more here. The bearded wine guy: belief is in your heart and how you give your heart to others. And Santa Doug had to write a long one, so I'm going to have to read Santa Doug's here.
All right.
A believable Santa makes each child feel like the most important person in the room. Also, children do not remember the perfect costume. They remember how Santa made them feel. A real Santa looks the child in the eyes, uses their name when possible, listens more than he talks, responds to what the child actually says. For that moment, the child should feel like Santa came just for them.
Yeah.
And these are wonderful definitions. And
well, and it's a wide range of it. And that's the one nice thing about, it's your definition to work on and your belief system to work on. There's no right or wrong. I think, somehow, I think a child accepts information and then creates with it. There's a creativity component of belief and that imagination that I absolutely love. Somehow as an adult, we suppress that. You've talked to me a lot about the art of play. And then I love Jerry's comment, I'm not going to grow up. I'll say that again, because that just reminds me, to play. It's okay to play. There's a difference between being childlike and childish, and so, yeah.
Well, I think too is the important, I'm just kind of scrolling through here with Stephen Price: when I portray Santa, I must first believe in me so that they can believe in me.
Yeah.
But what I was trying to get to is, just like snowflakes, even though there are common boundaries and definitions when playing or portraying Santa and being a Claus ambassador, each one of us has a different reason as to why we're in the chair or following this vocation or making this our passion.
Yeah.
And when we come to character development and what Michael's describing with belief, love, faith, all these wonderful qualities that a person must have and to understand to make their portrayal more authentic, it is amazing, but there is no wrong answer. And that's the key.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to look at. But you know what time it is, Michael?
It's
dad joke time because we got some serious stuff going on. So let's cause some little levity here.
All right. Here we go.
Hey, Kringle brothers, what's the difference between Santa's reindeer and a knight? One's slaying dragons, the other one's dragon slays.
See, that's great. And
Thank you,
again,
Bubba. I love it.
thank you, Bubba. But again, at this point, we want to take the time to sell each one of our viewers or each one of the people watching us or following us. Submit a dad joke. Submit it to kringlebrothers2@gmail.com. Make sure that you're basically putting your phone on horizontal so we get the best image, not like this, but like this, and submit them. And Michael will do some magic behind the computer. And you know what? You'll be able to see yourself on our show. So it's important to do so. But you know
Yeah.
what, Michael? There's a few other comments here.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead.
I mean, just before,
Please send them in.
yes.
It's always fun, and I know it takes a little bit of time, but yeah, please send them in. We'd love it, and we'd love to get on to the show.
But Bruce Nord made a comment
All right.
when the child makes a statement, "You are Santa." Your response should be, "I'm glad you think I am." We should never say that you are the real Santa. And then Kane Smith, many parents describe Santa to their children as a disciplinarian. Belief to me is when you make that breakthrough and convince them that we are actually a caring friend.
Yeah.
And again, this all ties into history and to understand the character and look at the history of every character that we can portray.
Yeah.
And you can actually make some really good connections. But everybody out there, you're making very good points tonight.
Yeah. Well, it's because they've got some experience, and they've got some wisdom that I absolutely love hearing, which is so true. So, but another side note here, as I'm looking at timing, making sure we get it. I had a wonderful conversation with Wade, and Wade gave me the thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
They're ready. Wade is the owner.
Oh, it's that time, isn't it?
Santa's Closet. And so all of those accessory things that you might need, belts and buckles and giveaways and shirts and hats, they're official of Boston Scally. Ooh, that was a brain fart. That came out slow.
What?
And so they have Boston Scallies. I'm not sure exactly what he has in stock right now. I'm fashioning the new workshop one for St. Patrick's Day, which I absolutely love. And did you know that St. Patrick used the clover to talk about the Trinity?
Right.
And then the other thing that St. Patrick, when I looked that up, that he's for, this is talk about a squirrel, is snakes. He drove snakes out. I hate snakes.
Well, there's nothing wrong with the
I'm
snake.
I know there's some people that love them, and you can love them all you want. I've got to keep my distance. I'm not a snake person.
There are some people that are like that. So we're going to move on to trivia, huh?
I thought it would be fun to do trivia.
All right, we'll knock out the trivia right now. Then we're going to get back into this great conversation.
Santa's Closet has been committed to providing unique, high-quality accessories for Santa, Mrs. Claus, and the entire Claus community. Our mission is to deliver exceptional customer service and outstanding value, offering competitive pricing and a wide selection of products designed to enrich the Claus experience.
All right, so there's some rules. There are
Lots
rules
of rules.
before we put the question up. If you've won a trivia question, how many weeks did we say?
I don't know. I don't remember. I'm
Should
just
we
saying.
go 4? No, or 6?
Oh, you want 4 weeks or 6 weeks?
What would be better?
We could go
6
4
weeks.
weeks. We'll go 6. We'll
Yeah,
go 6
just
weeks.
we're like parents, right?
Right.
Go talk to your father. So we'll do 6 weeks. We'll make the rules 6 weeks. So if you win, you can enjoy the question, but we want to give everyone a chance to win. All right, that was one of them. And was there any other?
Nope. Right there is if you are the winner, then please email us and let's put the
Oh, yeah,
email back up there real quickly.
So if you do win, email us your name and address to send you the gift and your
possible
T-shirt size.
Exactly.
And so that way we can give that information to Wade, and then Wade, he's really good at getting it into the mail right away.
He is. Awesome.
I love it. So if Wade did that, he sends you the other
Brother.
stuff the same kind of way. You buy it, and if it's in stock, it's out there. And yes, we've got our fashion patches from Wade that we love wearing. Yeah, did you want to show that one more time just for fun? Yeah, there it is. All right, awesome. Okay, so tonight's trivia question. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm
Is
manning the
AJ
chat to
watching?
figure it out. AJ is here.
All right.
Bob says 8 weeks.
8 weeks. Oh,
8
all
weeks.
right. Thank you, AJ. We're changing it from 6 to 8. All right.
Perfect.
We want to be consistent. So here's tonight's question. In the movie Elf, what is the first rule of the Code of Elves? I should get some trivia music going on here. You know what I mean?
We can make it.
Wouldn't it be?
Ooh. All right. Not that one.
All right. Are you watching the comments?
I am watching the comments here, and
All
I'm
right.
trying to.
So in the movie Elf, what is the first rule?
Oh, we do have a good point
Elf?
here. Caveat to the rules. Unfortunately, we cannot ship outside of the United States.
Oh, yeah. I knew there was another rule. I'm sorry.
It's only our second show for season 3. We're still learning our rules ourselves.
We're
so
still getting back in. Unless you have an address in the States that we can send it to and they can get it to you.
And you know what? We already have a win. This is going to be
have a winner.
Actually, we do have a winner. We have a winner, and that
who's our
is
winner?
Kane Smith.
Woohoo! Kane Smith. Wait, I was working on this. Thank you very much.
Sorry, Jenny Kringle. Kane beat you exactly by 20 seconds.
So in the movie Elf, what is the first rule of the Code of Elves? Treat every day like Christmas. Isn't that a great rule? I like the rule.
I do too.
You're focused. Look at you.
I am focused. I am ready. I am rock and rolling here. I'm actually trying to make sure I get all my logistics up. All right. I am
just
set.
A reminder, Kane, if you would, please send us your first name and last name and your address and your shirt size in case Wade's giving out a shirt to kringlebrothers2@gmail.com.
Now, Michael, as we get back into our comment, did you go over the key reasons for portraying Santa Claus?
Yeah, I went over, let me grab my other notes. I went over some of those key reasons for it, where I talked about the symbols of love. That's what brought up the question. I fostering generosity, the culture, traditions, and connections. I think I might have missed that one. I might have slipped on that one. But there's Santa's got that deep rooted in cultures, and so I think that's one of those reasons why, at least for me, when I take that traditional suit or a Coca-Cola suit, I think Santa's more limited, and they're pushing those boundaries a little bit nowadays, but I think we're a little bit more limited in what we can wear compared to Mrs. Claus or an elf or another festive character.
Well, you know what? Just talking about generosity and all kinds of other stuff like what you're just saying. Kane just put into the chat, can you give it to the next person? I won on Monday and I'd like to pass it on.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
that next person in line was none other than the Kringle Brothers show friend, Jenny Claus.
Nice.
So Jenny, go ahead and send us your Jenny Kringle. Just send us your email and address and shirt size so we can get it out to Wade and Scarlett of Santa's Closet.
It'll be fun to tease Doug. Your wife won. I love it. So, you know what, Michael? This is a topic that I have a feeling we're going to have to come back 2 or 3 or 4 more times, because my notes, I've got so many notes on character development because I just love working on the inside of me. And I'll give that an example of what I feel by working on character development or the inside of you, what it'll do to your performance. In other words, one of my favorite stories is I've got Orville, right? and I'm doing the trick with Orville, my flying elf, and I've got it, and I put my hands up, and then Orville slides off the gimmick that makes him fly, and he falls down and he hits the floor, and the kids' eyes like, oh, right. And I immediately went, Orville, and reached down and picked him up. I put him on my Showtime table and I did CPR on him. It was thoughtless. In other words, it was just the right thing to do at the right time and what took place. Now, of course, there was tons of people that laughed, and as I'm processing it, but the more I thought about that in that improv moment, why did I do that? And I think it's because when I'm in character, my heart loves my elves, and my elves aren't just a puppet, to me. They're real to me when
Right.
I'm in character. And so when you see a friend fall or hurt, what's your natural response is to help them or to do something to make sure they're okay. And so that improv came out so naturally, um, because of, I think, my character development in my heart. And so that love and responding and that belief immediately picked my elf up and got a great laugh out of it,
Yeah.
if I'm making
Well,
sense with that. So that's I think the fruit, I'll say that's the fruit of character development. I think it affects your improv, it affects the mannerisms and who you are. And what's even great, it affects who you are outside of Santa. I think that portraying Santa and understanding his character and mannerisms has made Michael better.
well, I think, in all honesty, a lot of things from when you're actually working on the Santa character or the Claus character, it seeps over into your real life, especially if you're a individual who is Santa 24 365. And I think is that's the most important aspect that we have to consider is it doesn't really help your portrayal if you're not what you appear on the chair in real life. But I want to talk about this real quickly, and
All
there's a
right.
question in here, and I want to get your opinion on it. But
Okay.
this is what I think of when I talk about development, and what Michael is actually discussing, in all honesty, is from an internal aspect. There are different procedures, different tasks, different ideas to help you identify certain things, but true development produces steadiness. The performer knows how the character stands, what the character values, what the character protects, like in your elf story, and how the character responds under pressure. The knowledge is not memorized, it's embodied. It becomes instinctive through repetition and reflection. Depth does not mean exaggeration, it means consistency. It means the character behaves coherently across environment and emotional shifts. Here's the key part: when this character development is shallow, the audience may still smile, but the exchange remains only surface level. The
Mm.
moment passes quickly and leaves little trace. But when the development is thorough, the encounter becomes grounded. The child feels seen, the adults feel respected, and the atmosphere becomes sincere rather than performative.
Yeah.
So, really, truthfully, is when you sit here and you look at it, by understanding the values of Santa,
Yeah.
the values of Mrs. Claus, you're creating a world and you'll know how to act within that world. And
Yeah.
you are constantly evolving and changing. There's nothing that can happen during a performance or during a visit or during an interaction that you can't handle. I think people end up getting nervous or
Mm.
they end up getting flustered is because they're not sure on the development, and that's why it makes the difficult for them to ask some serious questions.
Yeah. It creates a confidence in you that you're putting your best foot forward. But when you made that comment about the authenticity, and even with the child, how many times at the end of your visit, the child just hugs you and goes, I love you.
Oh,
So when those types of things, when you hear those and you see those things, right, back to defining, that there it is. There's the magic and all of that belief in what you're
but
doing.
but again, I don't think it's just from a child perspective. We do spend a lot of times with
Oh
children,
yes. Oh, that's right. For the adult too. What was it?
but
Was it Charles W. Howard that made the kind of Santas for the child and all of us? Was that
yes,
him?
I believe
Charles W.
so. If
Howard?
I'm, but I mean, that's a very good point. Is I remember doing a visit and I was talking to a family, and I walked up. It was like a breakfast with Santa, and there was the children, and then of course the mother, and then the grandmother. Well, I walked up to the grandmother, and granted, I swung for the fences, and luckily I got the call. I went up to the grandmother, and being from Michigan, Hudson's was the place to be. And I knew Hudson's. I grew up in this area. So I went up, and as Santa, I said, "Oh, I remember seeing you at Hudson's, and you wanted that lovely Holly Hobby doll. Oh, I remember I brought it to you, and you were so happy." And the mother looked at her mother, and he was like, and the children were like, "Really, Grandma?" And then as they went away to go get their breakfast, the grandmother comes up to me afterwards and goes, "Thank you, Santa, because I did ask for a Holly Hobby and I got it
You
that
did it.
year.
Yeah.
And you brought back so many memories." And again, because why?
Yeah.
I studied, I knew the area, and it was just one of those things. It's not going to happen all the time. You know this as well
Oh,
as I
oh
do. It's
yeah.
not going to
You wish
happen
you
all the
could throw
time.
that arrow out 100% of the time. You do your best. Yeah,
But
that's yeah.
but you know what? Again, even from an improvisational standpoint, it's better to make mistakes than
Yeah.
it is to be perfect. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. Well, the one thing is, one of the comments that was on here, and this is totally not off. It's almost like a squirrel moment here. Is one Santa asks us, "What is our feelings on political views on in Santa groups and pages?"
Oh, one of our fews. To me, I think it's taboo. I think you stay away from it.
And that seems to be the general consensus. I always learned from the different mentors that I have, and speaking with Michael and a few others, is I mean, Santa's supposed to be neutral. I mean, when it comes from a political standpoint, it's no. Because why? I guess when I portray Santa, I try to find the best in all. And I want to try to encourage the best in all. And I don't feel I have time to sit there and listen. And even from a squabble within the Santa community, I don't even want to get involved with all those either.
Yeah, I get it. I understand that there's the need to say something or to stick up for what you believe or um you know, it's just one of those I think if I have to only focus on me. That's all I can do. I can't change anybody else. I can only work on Michael, you
Hmm.
know. And so I know all of those political things and those comments. I just try I just try to stay away from them and then become and be the best Santa that I can be.
Now, I can say this, as Michael already pointed out, is character development is going to be an ongoing conversation. There'll be a few other shows that will talk about this subject even more. We'll try to actually isolate a few and try to help everybody with their processes for developing their own character. And as we're running out of time, I would just like to say, Michael, why don't you go ahead and give the teaser of next week's show?
Oh, I was gonna have you do it. I'm just so excited.
Oh my goodness. We have an amazing opportunity here, friends, that on Wednesday, March 18th, we'll have a special guest with us in studio. It will be Hall of Fame Santa Sam Minatello, and owner of Santa and Company LLC.
I love
He's
his suits.
Oh, his suits are great. Sam suits. He actually has a style of suit. It's called a cool mesh style, but
Well,
it's in the same style as Charles W. Howard.
in his story on meeting Charles, because he was a part of that. In other words, he worked for the seamstress that made Charles W. Howard's suit, and then worked for her. And yeah, just Sam's story. You don't want to miss it. And he does, like, he's the Santa for the Detroit parade.
Well, now you're stealing my
Ooh,
lines.
sorry. Go ahead.
He's a veteran parade Santa of America's Thanksgiving Day Parade in Detroit and has appeared in promotional appearances on television, radio, and in print. Sam is an inductee into the International Santa Claus Hall of Fame in December 2014. You don't want to miss this episode, as Michael
No,
already pointed out. He
you
has
know.
so many wonderful stories.
And then also his stories and how, he's owned reindeer and his stories with it. And then so this is the outlook of the side. Here's the suits, and then Sam will talk about his suits. And I can testify, I love his suits, and the difference between his suits and some other suits doesn't mean one suit's right or wrong. It's what's best on you. But it's kind of like finding that shirt from a company that fits you really well. Sam's suits are like that for me. It's like it just fits me really well, and so I will let him tell some of those differences for you. How's that?
That is awesome. Now, just a couple comments here that we can go over. Mike Connor, in regards to the whole political aspect, he goes, "I subscribe to the Dolly Parton rule. I'm in the record selling business. I'm in the record selling business, and the last time I checked, both Republicans and Democrats buy records. Why would I want to cut half of my customer base?"
Yeah.
Let's see. We also got a from Eric Marco. Thank you guys. This is my first time watching. You guys are great. Well, thank you, Eric. We really appreciate that. Another one from the Bearded Wine Guy. A quote I use every day in my beard group. May you live your life with the excitement of your inner child unwrapping presents on Christmas morning.
Awesome. I
So,
like
but
that color.
we like to actually hold these conversations, and we just sit here and we talk to each other. But you know what, you all watching and listening to us, even those that may be watching a recording later on, is you guys are wonderful, and you make up this community, and it's because of you that Michael and I strive to become better ourselves and to offer our best practices to each and every one of you.
Yeah.
And in the words of the Kringle brothers, we're better together.
Yes, we are.
And at the same time, too, you're more than welcome to take anything that we do or say. If it works for you, just remember, if you take it and you use it and you make it better,
And we like it, we'll take it back.
We will take it back.
We'll change our story to match it. Yeah, it'll be great. I love it. And so we got some thanks to do. Thanks
We have some
to
thanks.
all of the family at the TNL work, Bob and Scott and Spangle, and especially Angie. Right. Thank you for all that you do. Our contributors, for Larry, Talbot Insurance, and for Roger and with Kringle Tracker, helping the business side of it and keeping things running smooth and magical. Thank you.
And also, don't forget Wade and Scarlett of Santa's Closet, as well as all the amazing TNL shows like with Randall and Phineas on
Yep.
Mondays, and
Magic Group.
of course, we have Mrs. Vintage Claus as well, and we have
Claus
Mel-
Couples on Sunday, which is awesome. I
and of course
got a
the
chance
match.
to tune in this Sunday, and that was really
It's
cool.
fun. It is fun. I watched some of it myself too. So, and also a major big thank you to two very important people to us, and that is our lovely brides, Linda and Stacy. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. And again, thank you to every one of you that are watching us right now.
So may your days be jolly and your hearts be bright.
And may the magic of Christmas fill every aspect of your life.
Remember to be good for goodness sake.
And spread joy and share kindness to all you see.
Merry
Merry
Christmas to all.
And
You
you
all
all
a good
good
night.
night. We
We
can
have to
never
work
get
that
that bottom
sync.
line there.
That was just, we'll get it. We've got the
All right.
whole
Good
season
night,
to work on.
everybody.
Good night, everybody. Afterglow party.
You know what? We have Mrs. Claus, Kelly Mitchell, starting a new group on Friday, Mrs. Claus from Scratch. So you may
Ooh,
want to contact Kelly if you're interested.
I like that idea. Kelly, you're awesome.
Oh my goodness. And we're just looking at there. So many thank yous. Bubba, thank you again, Michael, for asking me to do a dad joke and push me out of my comfort zone to help make me a better Santa. See,
Oh, you're
you are
Bubba,
a
you're
mentor.
awesome. You're a great Santa. So
But
do
what a
you have,
great show. It was so much fun.
I enjoyed it a lot. I'm so glad you're my brother. Do you have
Oh, me
a
too.
last dad joke to send me off?
I don't have any dad jokes. I'm not that funny.
Yeah, you are.
I could maybe do a truffle shuffle, but we'll lose the rest of the people that are watching us.
All right. Well, we'll keep it good then. All right. Maybe
Well,
I could do the Spanish. Did I do my Spanish dad joke?
no, but you forgot that a leprechaun, an elf, and a police officer all walk into a bar. And what do they have in common?
They all love watching the Kringle Tracker show. I mean,
Not
no,
the Kringle Tracker, the Kringle.
the Kringle Brothers, Kringle Time. I knew I'd make that mistake. I love Kringle Tracker, keeping me in line to everything that I do. But yeah, it's the Kringle Time. All right. Night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.